Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's TY, and this is TY's TV Corner. We have a special segment for you guys for the next 6 weeks. I know, 6 weeks. But it's near and dear to my heart. It's been part of my life for the past 15 seasons and many, many years. And it means a lot to me personally. So I figured we could do a special segment each week, the Friday after it airs, and that is our Supernatural edition. Boom, boom, boom. So welcome back. If you're new to the channel, guys, make sure you smash that subscribe button, like this video, comment, and share. That way we can get the word out that we're pretty awesome, or not. That's okay too, because I don't know if I'm awesome. But we do host a podcast every Sunday, and we do weekly videos on YouTube pertaining to the pop culture industry. So, like I said, we're going to be doing Supernatural. It's my favorite television show of all time, my guilty pleasure as a man. And Sam and Dean have been there for me, for a long time. When I was battling my own demons. So this show means a lot to me, guys. And if you don't like it, go check it out. I mean, there's 15 seasons of 20 some odd episodes to check out, so you'll be busy for quite some time. So with that being said, we're gonna jump right into it. Season 15, episode 15. Now, Supernatural is one of those shows where they kind of film groups of episodes, and they are still filming during when seasons are airing. Not many big budget shows do that anymore, but Supernatural does. So when COVID happened, they still had, the last bunch of episodes to shoot, and they got delayed, which was, I feel like, fate just saying that it did not want Supernatural to end. This is the show that just cannot end. But now we're here, and now it's ending, and it brings a tear to my eye. So we'll get into the breakdown now. If you haven't watched the episode and you're hell-bent on watching it, maybe this video isn't for you. We're going to be doing a review, so I just want to warn you now that there could be potential spoilers for the episode in this video. So, for those of you who are left, Supernatural, Season 15, Episode 15. So Sam and Dean take a little backseat in this week's episode, directed by Supernatural alum Matt Cohen. Jack and Castiel are where the majority of the story takes place, as they investigate a series of gruesome murders connected to a church or a faith-based community. It's a feel-good moment to have Jack and Cass adventure this week. We didn't see Cass when the season restarted this month, cueing a fun, confused reaction on his face when the boys mentioned Mrs. Butters, the incident with Mrs. Butters. It's good. I always love seeing Cass's dumb faces, where he's like acting like his, you know what I mean. Cass is not dumb. Cass is amazing. So Castiel used to be the source of all the awkward comedy when he tried to imitate the Winchesters as fake FBI agents, holding the badge upside down. In this case, it ended up being Jack. And that I thought that was a funny, father and son kind of deal. So this one had Jack and Cass on their own. There was, no human to act as a filter for weird things that they say while investigating the case. It's incredible. Angels stayed secret for so long. They're not particularly good liars, that's for sure. Jack's endearing innocence translated to him making, a connection with the pastor's daughter, while investigating the murder of the faith-based community members. As cringeworthy as his introduction involving Kool-Aid. My God, Jack, come on, get it together. Kool-Aid? Kool-Aid? He was able to bridge a gap between himself and the pastor's daughter over the shared trauma that they have together. The death of a loved one. In this case, that was his mom. It's nice to hear Jack is still affected by her passing, hence having his soul back intact. Even though it happened before, he could meet her. Kelly is the major reason why Jack has a good heart. And embracing that fact is good for his character, let's face it. So, relegated to the B story for a time, Sam and Dean take a trip to Atlantic City, everyone's favorite place besides Vegas, to follow up on a loose hunch, of Amara's whereabouts. Who knew the antithesis of God was such a fan of the lottery? Keno in particular. I can't stand Keno. Terrible game. Terrible. That's beside the point. But it's in Pennsylvania when Sam and Dean run into her. Amara kind of jumps them at a gas station. Not jumps them, but, in typical celestial being fashion, they turn around and she's right there waiting for them. And Amara and Dean have that, connection. So seeing Amara again is like a punch to the gut for him. Another note ringing out, signaling the end is nigh. Emily Swallow's depiction of the character has suitably evolved to this point, starting out at this otherworldly alien being to woman of the world, enjoying the simple pleasures of life as she missed out on. She makes a very important point to the boys, though, who now see her as more of a person than they used to. Basically, what they see her is as a woman, but they can't grasp the enormity of her power. The same is true of her brother Chuck, though. I mean, if you think about it, they think he's swirly. They see him more of as a chess player than God, or they see him as a hunt, and her as a way to get that hunt completed. And also, I mean, they're going to end up killing her as well, or at least that's the plan now. But she hit me. Like that exchange between those two, Amara and Dean, this episode, it brought a tear to my eye how deep it was, and God, give Dean an award. Give Jensen an award, guys. I mean, he had me at the edge of my seat for his monologue. It was just amazing. So seeing the boys trying to convince the darkness to help them take Chuck out, that's one thing. The real emotional gravitas is placed on Dean's solo chat, like I had said. Dean demanded a reason for her bringing Mary back to the land of the living, only to have her killed later on, and he wanted to know what she was trying to teach him. So, what he demanded was the point. What did she want to learn from the tragedy? And I kind of wanted to know, too. Amara's response was perfect. Bringing Mary back was not the underhanded way for Dean to suffer the pain of her loss again. It was a lesson in learning the truth about his mother, seeing how she was, she was better than even his memory depicted. The biggest lesson was in accepting his life now, as it is, not living in the past, building all that rage and anger and holding it in, but wondering how things could have been different if she'd survived all those years. A recurring storyline in Supernatural is the what-if scenario. What if the boys never lost their mother to that demon? What if it could have been avoided, like deals and curses and, many years of hardship? What if they'd never become hunters? What if they weren't brothers? These what-if scenarios usually paint the Winchesters as happier, but missing out on that special something, and that's their connection as brothers together. And the boys were always meant for something more, and that is part of Dean's issue, I think. Dean describes himself, his brother, and all the major players as stuck in a story, Chuck's story. It sounds very, defeatist, but this thought of the battle of free will versus Chuck's plans is constant. It's very constant. Ever since the concept of heaven and angels became a central thorough point for the show, it presents a real-world writing problem too. How do you come to satisfaction, or a satisfying conclusion for your characters when they're convinced they don't truly have free will? I don't know. I guess we see the characters do have they have issues with that whole hamster in a wheel kind of deal. I think that's how Dean put it. How do you conclude if your characters still think they're a piece of a chess game? The question then becomes, I guess, is the ultimate surprise that they had free will all along. After all, Sam and Dean never went along with the Cain and Abel storyline. The Michael Lucifer fight, really at every turn, the boys have defended or defied someone else's expectations and gone out swinging. Guys, this episode really hits home. This is what we needed. That first episode, I think, was just a comedic relief, get back in the swing of filming, get them, used to seeing each other again. But this episode, now we're putting the pedal to the metal again. Now we're advancing storylines and getting to where we need to be. I thought this was an amazing episode, guys. I don't know what you guys thought. Definitely let me know in the comments what you thought of tonight's episode, or last night's episode, I should say. I am, like I said, I think Dean... So I'm going to go off cue here a little bit. One day, looking back on this whole series as a whole, there are a couple things that I would have changed. And I would have done differently. But I think that given the circumstance and given all, given what happened, I think the show is perfect. Somewhere in this episode, the bomb was dropped, literally. So it was Cass and Jack riding home from the hunt in like a Dean and Sam kind of fashion, where they're having their final words for the episode, where they're talking about what just happened, or talking about some dramatic stuff that was going on, and Jack admits to have been lying to Cass for a long time, and to us as the audience, and that when he kills God and Amara, light and dark, he becomes more of a bomb than the instrument of the killing. Like, he's not going to make it out of this alive. And that throws Cass down a whirlwind. And, if we know anything from Supernatural, this means that Cass, he says that at the end of the episode that he's going to find another way. So, and he tells Dean, they leave us off with a cliffhanger, but, at least what we think, I think he tells Dean that, Jack isn't telling the truth. He's going to die if he kills them, which will then lead them to find an ulterior way to defeat God. It happens almost every season, where the initial plan is not the actual plan that comes to fruition at the end of the season. Supernatural, you're a lot of things, but predictable is definitely one of them as well. See what I did there? I love this show, man. I love this show. I'm so happy. It's a little bit hard to do this review without a camera on. I'm just using the microphone, and I'm gonna do some pictures and stuff like that. It's different. This is different for me. I'm so very sad. I am so very sad. Overall, I'm going to give this episode an 8.5. Not a lot of action. I thought the church was, the faith-based community, I thought that was pretty cool. With what the dynamic that was in there. I definitely saw it. I saw the killer coming. I knew who it was from jump, just by how she was behaving. Like I said, Supernatural, predictable is one thing you are. With the daughter of the pastor, she definitely held some, especially when she was talking about how he's a better pastor than a father. I was like, ding, it's her, little bitch. She's the one killing everybody. But she had some crazy traps. The one with and I didn't know what was going on, right? So she had that girl's hands in a finger trap. And then she had a countdown on the computer. Who is the one supposed to be helping? This girl's just watching a countdown of her own fingers about to come off. There's no one that's, just the way it lined up. It just, it didn't make me feel better, because no one was really trying to find her, or trying to help her. Cass and Jack were on the case, but they were busy being in the thick of it. Who knew that girl ended up being so close? She was just in the barn out back or something like that. But yeah, it just that part made me laugh a little bit. God, I love this show, man. sometimes it's predictable, but I mean, if you haven't watched all the seasons and all, like, you grow now, and tell me if I'm wrong, but you grow towards these characters, like, you grow attached. Like, I feel like Dean is my spirit animal, and Sam is my spirit brother animal. I love these guys so much, and I've been made fun of personally for liking these shows, liking the show, like, you know, as much as I do, but I don't know what I would do without it. I mean, I battled my own demons for a long time, and, you know, when I had nothing else, I had Sam and Dean, and I had Supernatural, and that's the best thing about this show. It never has one tone. It never has one, just one, like, main focal point. There's funniness, there's comedy, there's drama, there's action, there's love. You know, there's so many different themes going on in this show, and it's, you know, that's what makes it special. That's what makes it supernatural. And that's what, you know, that's what I hold close to my heart. And one day I hope to see these, you know, I hope to see Jensen and Jared take up those mantles again and don the denim and suit up as the boys one more time, whether it be for a shortened season or, you know, a 3-season mini-series, whatever. It's just as long as this isn't the end, because I don't know how they would end a story like this. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, how they could end this show, but on a good note, because clearly there's never going to be a happy ever after for the boys. I don't think that is possible in the Supernatural world, because I think they're always going to want to keep it open, you know, until Jensen and Jared are old men. But I know for one thing, they will never be able. This is one show that you cannot reboot with 2 different actors. And if you hold on, I'm gonna go on record here and say this: if you ever try to reboot Supernatural with different actors, and I'm alive, I will put an end to it. You cannot have Supernatural. That's why do you think all these spin-offs failed? Because they don't have the boys in it. People like Supernatural for them, whether it's because you think they're cute or you like the story. That's it. There's no Supernatural without them, and it just can't be done. You know, Wayward Winchester. What is it called? What was the other one? The Wayward Sisters or something like that. That one failed, and then the one about the monster, the Chicago, the one about the Chicago monster families, that one failed as well. It's because the boys aren't in it, and you can't do Supernatural without them. But as always, guys, so that was just a quick breakdown. You know, not, like I said, not a lot going on in this episode. There was a lot. I mean, we got back to the grassroots. We got back to the basics with some hunts. We learned a couple things. Seems like we got Amara on board, or half on board with taking Chuck out, but she doesn't know. And Dean was really compelling with saying that he wouldn't hurt her, when what the real case is, he's a good liar, because he's not going to hurt her. Jack is. So, you know, there was a double entendre to what he was saying, because I felt it in my heart. I was like, I know Dean won't hurt you, Amara, but Jack will. Jack is no part of this. But as always, you know, when the new episode breaks, we'll start doing. So next week, I'm gonna use the camera, and I'm gonna do an actual review behind the green screen. For this week, I just didn't have a lot of time, so just audio and some pictures and videos is what you'll get. Next week, I'll have a little bit of a better production. You can see my beautiful face, my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful face. Just kidding. But you know, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on Snapchat, we're on Patreon. We're literally on everything, guys. And for our podcast, you can hear us on all major podcast platforms. So come join us. Subscribe to the channel. Like these videos. Comment. # we do it for the culture. and you could be entered in to win an Amazon gift card. As a new subscriber and commenting hashtag we do it for the culture, you will automatically be entered in to win one of 10 Amazon gift card prizes or Pop Culture Corner custom t-shirts with your name on the back. So thank you guys so much. Next week we're going to get really into the thick of things with season 15, episode 16. Until then, I love you. Carry on, my wayward son.